This movie tells a story about Shiva, who sets out in search of love and self-discovery. During his journey, he has to face many evil forces that threaten our existence. This big-budget and star-studded Indian movie is meant to kick off an MCU-style superhero universe called the Astraverse, drawn in part from Hindu mythology. It's the first in a planned trilogy. It follows a formulaic plot of superhero fighting against an evil demigod with plenty of visual effects. Unfortunately, this overindulgent and stupid movie is a huge disappointment. The movie doesn't really care to craft a coherent story and offer good performances. It spends much of its 160-minute runtime explaining and re-explaining the mythology and rules for its cinematic universe while giving far less attention to its characters. The heroes and villains get little in the way of development beyond generic character types. It's pretentious and plays out as exceedingly familiar. Even the musical numbers are mediocre at best. It's basically a bunch of people running around, spouting mystical nonsense, hunting for various religious artifacts, and using weather or laser beams to do battle in the expected good versus evil plot. It's a film that sells repetition, narrative contrivance, and oversimplification, as it's constantly repeating the same bits of lore and mythology until the audience can recite them by memory. The movie is constant barrage of stupidity with bad acting, atrocious exposition-heavy dialogue, mediocre visual effects, and soundtrack music that's simply too loud. Neither the action scenes nor the musical numbers stand out, and none of the characters or their performers transcend their expected roles. By the end of this movie, there's little by way of real humanity to be found. Both main characters are exceptionally plain, a real-life married couple who display a shocking lack of on-screen chemistry as Shiva and Isha. Their characters are rendered not just in broad strokes, but joyless ones as they trudge through a preordained romance on fast-forward that somehow cannot seem to move quickly enough. The movie is insisting on a romance between them instead of actually developing one. They fall in love because they have to, as the script tells them so, but neither one is enough of a three-dimensional person for this love to feel meaningful. Isha's character is really underwritten and lacks substance. There's no moment in the film where the actress is actually allowed to act, as all the actress does is react. The superhero character is both over the top and strained as well. The dialogue delivery is stilted as both actors feel utterly conscious of the camera being on them. The more of the Astras being introduced, the more they begin to vary in style and influence, but few of these abilities are rooted in anything resembling personal ethos. You can swap them around and the effect would be largely the same. Whenever an action scene begins, they end up being buried by hyperactive editing that seldom allows the viewer to absorb any visual or emotional information. They are strung together so haphazardly that they swiftly lose all impact. Overall, this movie is simply a waste of time. We do not recommend this movie at all.